Hello and welcome to the stream. How is everybody today? Let me switch that over to there so I'm kind of looking at the camera when I'm looking at the stats of Streamlabs. Anyway, so yeah, welcome to the stream. 2 streams in 2 days. That's a rarity for me. I'm trying to get back. I keep saying I will, and just life gets in the way. This isn't my full-time job. I'm a full-time senior academic at the Ruskin University in Cambridge, teaching on the game art course there as well as running the masters. So this is kind of very much a hobby for me, and just being able to kind of pass on the knowledge that I do to this with the students. And it's also another good resource for the students to have on top of all the other tutorials that I've done for their modules. That these extra kind of streams are there to kind of showcase what I'm working on and what I'm thinking. So yeah, I do apologize, and I do apologize that I haven't gone back to the painted ladies yet. I felt I was hitting a bit of a wall with that, so I will go back and finish it. I swear. Touchwood. We'll go back and finish that. But I fancy doing a little bit of stylization. Currently, the masters are making a game, which is kind of medieval game. Which kind of got me inspired the other day to make some weaponry, which I've never done before. I don't really touch weapons. I'm a building environments guy. Don't really do too much in the forms of weapons, props, and that sort of stuff. So I thought I'd give it a go. And I saw a technique from what's his name, 3DX. If you don't know who he is, his channel is 3DEX on YouTube. Really cool guy. I support him on Patreon because he's not necessarily tutorials, but he does speed sculpts and that sort of stuff. And he just shows some of his processes. And one of the processes was actually using quad draw inside of Maya. And I thought, I'd never thought about doing that, using it. So I'm gonna give that a go. Then I'm gonna get it into Zbrush, do a little bit of sculpting on it, and then texture it all inside a Substance Painter. So yeah, so the first thing I started with was, so I'm starting fresh, completely fresh. So it's a new project, so I've set up more projects inside of Maya, set all that up, which I'll go through in a minute and show you guys. But the first thing I started with was gathering reference, and reference is key. I was talking to a client the other day, we were talking about reference gathering, that sort of stuff, and it's so important to do. And not only just like reference gathering what you're kind of modeling, but say you're modeling an environment. In that environment there's lots of different props, so it's kind of reference gathering all those different props. And one thing I've been telling my students recently is to make asset lists so that you know exactly what you need to build, especially if you're working on a big environment and that sort of stuff. So one thing, I normally use Padlet when I'm doing my mood boards, mainly because it's online and I get to kind of use that, share it with other people. Normally because I'm working on a project with multiple people, I think that's probably the best thing when I'm working on projects like that, is share it with Padlet. But for this project, it's not a client project, it's not a big project, so I'm kind of working on something called Pure Reference, which I made a donation, I think. And you can get it for free, but I think if you can do like a $5 donation basically, but it gives you this, which is brilliant because it just means I can just grab imagery from the internet, and then it's all in one place, and I can look. And I haven't just looked at like concepts from games and that sort of stuff for this. I've kind of gone and had a look at actual axes, Viking axes, and then these. And I'm actually going to be modeling from this concept here. So this is a concept. Do correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's from Warhammer. And the plan is to kind of build this and stylize it. Now, some people have already done that. So some people have actually already done that with this, and then made it into 3D. So got to be as good as them. Okay, that's tough ask. Seeing this is my first weapon, but anyway. But I also looked at other weapons as well, other axes, just to kind of get an idea. I may come back and do some of these. I don't know what that one's from, but that's a really nice one. So yeah, so the plan is to kind of build this using this technique that I saw. And it's a common technique. It's used for Quadro is used for retopologizing. I've just never thought of using it to model with, begin with. Normally, Quadro, I would suggest using it if you're retopologizing a character and you need to kind of take the high poly and make a low poly from it. Other tools like that are Roadkill, Popo Gun, but luckily Quadro comes with Maya, and if you're a student, you can use your student email and actually set up an account with them and get a free copy of Maya Student. I'm today using Maya LT 2019. 2020. I did upgrade. No, it's because it's a freelancer's license, so I'm using the light version for it. But yeah, let's get started. There is. I'm going to put some music on in the background. Because I know that was one of the pieces of feedback someone gave me a couple of weeks ago. So I'm going to do that. I need to find it. Let me load up Pretzel. So I use Pretzel for my background music. It's free. It's a subscription like Spotify, but it's got all royalty-free music on there. So yeah. Let's just. I don't know. What's the music like? Have a listen. I don't know what the microphone is like. I'm trying to use something. I'm trying to use the NVIDIA RTX noise reducing. So it'd be interesting to kind of hear everybody's feedback on it. Okay, let's get started on this. Just getting set up to make sure I haven't been streaming ages. You can probably tell. But yeah, so to begin with, what I did was I kind of got this information. So I was just typed in Google concept stylized axe, and this kind of came up. And like I said, I was looking at a reference. And I loaded all these images up. I was looking at Offsiders 2. Different ones. There's some more stuff that I found today to kind of add to my reference gathering. And I saw this and I thought this would be quite cool to do. It's got some integrate pattern work around here. This stuff isn't integrate. This is quite easy to do. This is definitely going to be harder to do. And these pieces as well are going to be quite hard, but they're quite geometrical in their shape. So the method that I'm going to do this with today with Quadro should work. I don't know how much you're going to get done today, but yeah, we'll go from there. Okay, get rid of that. Okay. Hope everybody's alright and having a good week, start to the week. So then once I got my pure reference and I'd sorted that out, I kind of put it in here so that I've got a top-down shot of it. One of the other first things I did was I just set up my project. So I went into project window, created a new project, and then saved it where I wanted to. And then when I save this scene now, it's going to save in this project structure here. And that just means that everything's nice and tidy. I keep all the images in the images folder, all the scenes in the scenes folder. And the only difference that you might find is that mine is an I think it's MLT or an MILT file, which means it's a light file. It's a Maya light file instead of a Maya ASCII scene. So don't need to replace that. So yeah, and then what I did was I created a simple plane. So I also changed the subdivisions sub height to 1. And then what I did was kind of reshaped it in the shape of the axe. If I just move this away, and then I created a new material. So in the normal Maya, you'll have more materials. It's just I'm using Maya LT, and then I just loaded in that file. Yes, I didn't name it, so that's probably not a good thing. Okay, if I delete that. And then all I did was I just created a layer and added to it. It means I can turn it on and off basically. Just speeds up my workflow a little bit to do that. And yeah. What else did I do? And that's it really to begin with. I can really start to model on this now anyway. I'll also check thingy, so let's just get rid of these groups. So the first thing I've got to do is kind of make this surface live, which can be a little bit of an issue. But how you make it live is if you click the little select the object and then select the magnet here, it's now live. And what this means is I can start to actually use the quad draw to build this. So if I go into modeling toolkit and go down to quad draw, now I've got access to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this trim, which then goes into this piece here. So what I can do is, if I start to draw out, if I left click, I'm going to create a point. I'm going to try and evenly space these things out. And I'm going to do the same. Okay, and now if I want to fill these polygons in, I can do, but again, I can also just left click and drag these points. So if I'm not happy with something, so I'm not happy with that, so I'm just going to put another. And if I hold shift, I can just drag that all the way down like that. I'll redo that. So I can either just left click. If I hold shift and left click, that's going to allow me to draw the polygon. If I hold down shift, I can then just select over all those points and draw basically. And even when I'm in this mode after, I can actually start to carry on editing this line. And if I wanted to delete, I can do. Oh, I always forget what the button for this is. Luckily, it gives you a keyboard and mouse shortcut at the bottom down here. It's a bit small, but if I just go, Control Shift left mouse button. There you go. And then if I wanted to put a new one in, I could just press Control, and that will allow me to put a new edge loop in. And you can see here, I've quite quickly got that shape that I want. And okay, it's flat poly, but we can extrude it up and actually get it. And don't worry too much about. I mean, what we can do as well. But, we can relax points as well. But I can relax these points so they're a bit more curved. I'm just holding Shift to do that. Maybe not on the outer ones, because the outer ones. I've kind of got the shape that I want there, which is good. I can also nope. Drag this out a bit so it's there. And it's quite evenly spaced, the points are. Okay, and then once I'm happy with this, I can just press Q, and that's gonna turn off the quad draw. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna unselect it so it's not live anymore. If you don't, it can screw up your geometry, so make sure when you're finished with this, it's thinking. And one thing I am going to do is just going to bring this down a little bit. Actually, keep it there. As you can see now, I've got this poly, and actually poly surface, so it's alright. Just going to rename this there. Don't know. Yeah. Kind of got that shape, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab the faces and I'm just going to extrude. There we go. Because as you can see here, there's a lip, so I want to make sure the lip's fine. One thing I can also do as well is I can straighten that up a little bit, look at it from the top as well. Do tell me if the music's too loud or anything like that. Sorry, I'm just looking at yeah, so I'm just kind of editing this a little bit just so I can play around with it. And then all I wanted, if I want to go back into live mode, just click the little arrow again and make sure you're on the reference thingy. Obviously now if I select quad draw, this isn't going to show up. I can't edit this anymore because it's now not live. Actually, what happens if I make that live? Doesn't give me the option, so yeah, make sure you select the right thing to be live, which is the reference plane. Okay, and if you want to delete a point, got where it is now. I think it's the same as, there you go. It's the same as deleting a face. It's Control Shift left mouse button, and that will delete it for you, basically. I'm just going to do the axe now. One of the things with this as well is that you need to make it symmetrical, which is fine, because we can add little micro detail to make it asymmetrical later on in the sculpt, but to begin with, this is quite a symmetrical object, so kind of want it to make it thingy. So let me and I'm not putting this damage in because, like I said, I'm going to take this into Zbrush and pop it in there. Okay, and if I draw this now, that's a bit, and I'm just going to relax this slightly, maybe bring out some of the points. Obviously trying to avoid doing the edges because that can happen. Yeah. Okay, I'll just get rid of that. Oh, there we go. Pressing random buttons on Streamlabs is always fun on it. Yeah, let me just grab that. So the reason why I'm kind of leaving this end bit off from this bit here is because I kind of need to add a bit of geometry in here to support it. So we've got 1, 2. I'm actually going to do something a little bit different with this bit, which is hit Q, and I'm just going to unturn that off, and then go back and try and do it again, because I kind of want this end bit to be a little bit different because it's got a curve in there. Okay, and it's not to worry, we haven't got this attached at the moment, so I can turn that off live and then we can just tidy this up basically. So I'm just going to hold V, snap to the verts, same with up here as well, same here, just go merge, and then I'm just going to combine these two pieces together, so combine. And just make sure I merge the verts all. Make sure you don't hit the reference. Okay. So I'll try that again. So combine. I'm just going to merge these verts together. You'll notice that they drop down to 7 verts in total. Whereas before there was 9, and that was because verts were sitting on top of verts. So just make sure you clean that up basically. And yeah, I think roughly what I wanted. That's probably roughly where I need it to sit, actually. If we look at the concept, a bit of depth there. But is it the same height as... Yeah, it looks like it is the same height there. So what I want to do is, I actually want to pull these up. Just this edge loop here. And if you're having trouble with selection, you can just turn it to transparency on, so that you can actually... you know, I'm not selecting this bottom edge now. Especially if you use this outliner. Okay, and then And at this point, I'm very much eyeballing this. And what I'll do is as well, I'll hold Control, right mouse button, to edge. Hang on. Where is it? No. Where are you? Edge ring utilities, to edge ring, and it's going to select all those edges. And then what I'm going to do is just deselect, holding Control and dragging my mouse over. And then I'm just going to soften those edges so you don't get that harsher edge on it. But this is the right size for this now. So we have got this band that's going to go round it, and if we look at the pure reference as well, it's going to help a little bit. So you can see you've got this kind of ornate band. Let's see if they've done it here. Yeah, you can see it here. It actually looks like they haven't given enough room for the thingy, and I was having trouble figuring this out because I was just like, well, okay, why is it not doing this? So they've kind of gone with the solution of this connects to this piece underneath, and then this band goes over the top, which I think is fine. But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create a little indent. So stop that. Just gonna delete that as well. And then with this, just gonna extrude this, and I'm just gonna snap it to here. So it's like that. So we're actually gonna have a bit of a gap, a bit of a bridge underneath here, so that can then sit in it, and you're just gonna get a nicer AO feel on it. The other way is fine. I think it looks fine. It's just not the way that I would do it. And to be fair, I might get to the point where I do the band and then realise this is the worst way of doing it. So we could change it. And then I'm just gonna grab these edges. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get the axe blade, which is here. Thinking, and now, actually, let's. Is this going to work? I don't know. It might work, it might not. I don't know. Let's give it a go. One thing I am going to do though is I'm going to save. Always save. Okay, I'm going to do quad draw. Now, because I've turned this on, it's not going to let me select this, so I just have to make sure that I can go into the outline and select it. Turn on live mode, and then just go back to the modeling toolkit. Quad draw. Hey Ross, how's it going? And again, I'm going to try and match it as best to this geometry as possible here, because I want to kind of keep it evenly spaced. I am going to ignore this bit for the time being. I will kind of make it work in a minute. Once I think, I'm good, Ross. Yeah, busy as normal. And I'm making this Warhammer axe. I don't know what. I think it's from the Age of Sigmar. I think it's from the original one. But yeah, I'm making that today. Making it stylized as well, so I can practice my hand painting and that sort of stuff. Yeah, but I saw this technique being used from a YouTuber, and I was like, never thought of actually building straight from quad draw, using kind of like a trace system. So I was like, I'll give that a go today. Yeah, like I'm from box modeling, so I'm just like, okay, I'll just start with a box and mold it until it's resembling something what thingy. So I never thought about actually using quad draw before. Oh, don't want to do that. It's a bit too much. But in terms of the method of modeling, it's actually pretty decent, especially with these kind of ornate patterns. Yeah, like when I saw him doing it, I thought, oh, that's really cool. And I've known about quad draw for many years. But because I don't do characters, I don't do too much retopologizing. So it's kind of gone over my head in the past. But yeah, no, it's a pretty cool method, and like I said, it's really quick. You can get some decent looking shapes. I might actually model like this from now on, to be fair. Obviously, you have to kind of make sure that you're doing enough to keep the thingy geometry correct. So you still need to understand like flow, edge flow, and that sort of stuff, which you kind of pick up with box modeling as well. I'm just going to combine these two together, and because what I can do is an append polygon set. And I'm not moving these, I'm moving them on separate axes so that they don't deform. And that's why I'm moving them from the top so they don't deform too much. How's things? What are you playing at the moment, Ross? You're still here. Rocket League all the time. Fair enough. Have you gone back to Call of Duty yet or not? Yeah, Rocket League went free, didn't it, on Epic? I'm not the biggest fan of Rocket League because I suck. I don't know. There's some dodgy weapons at the moment which would give you an advantage. The new sniper is, I think it is a hit scan weapon where if you just aim it, if you get a good shot on someone, they're dead, or they're downed in Warzone. But there's they've got the ASVAL at the moment, which is completely broken. You can one-shot people through walls, like 2 or 3 walls, if you've got like a snapshot grenade. The 50 cal with explosive rounds is always fun because it's just like. I was using that for a while in Warzone, in Plunder. And do you know what? I'm not happy with this line here, so I'm just going to move it. Now, you can actually use something called Transform Constraint and use an edge slide. And that kind of keeps the form, but also allows you to move it. So, I can't move it outwards, but I can actually move it along this line, which is pretty decent. But if I wanted to kind of move it to soften it out there, I can do. Okay. The next thing. So that's pretty much in par there. So I need to do another one. Keep doing it basically so that it basically does that and goes in nicely. Ross, I did not know that. Yeah, there's so many cool tools, and I think I'm hoping that I'm talking about Maya, not ASL being broke. But yeah, the transform constraint is quite useful. No, it's been in since Modeling Toolkit came in, which was 2014, 2013. Just, it's not used. There's so many buttons and so many tools inside of Maya that just never get used. Or you just don't find them until one day you're like, oh, what's this do? And then you figure out and you're like, ah. And then you accidentally leave it on while you're trying to deform stuff and you're like, why is it not deforming correctly? And it's... Yeah, they change names as well. Oh, that was always fun. I'm good. Zurosky 7. Don't know how I'm pronouncing that. I do apologise. Do I know you in IRL or not? Are you one of my students? Zurosky. Okay. Hey. Do I know you in IRL? You gotta love these usernames. Like, I might know you, but I don't know through the username. Okay, let me grab that again. Yeah, Ross, they hide things all the time. I remember them changing the name of multi-cut tool. It used to be split polygon, and then they called it multi-cut, and then kept split polygon in, but you had to kind of use a hotkey through Python Mel script, and it was that was when I was first learning. Yes, repeat. Hello, Zelda. Zelda, no. Seriously, Zelda? My cat's now just like standing on my mouse and just pressed a load of buttons. Luckily, she didn't crash anything. Okay, Zorowski. Well, unfortunately, I'm not your student, but we met. Oh, were you at the one of the teams at the Games Jam? And you were at Brain Zeden. Guessing not last year, year before then. Oh, okay. Yeah. Did you win the Games Jam? Because I unfortunately couldn't be there on the Sunday. Go on, Zelda, jump. I know you want to. How long did you have for the Games Jam? Because I know Brains Eden's 48 hours, but how long did you have for the EGX one? Just give me 2 seconds. I need to take this one away because she's playing with. Sorry, no, try not to. But I can't pick her up from the bottom because she's got a scar there. So, yeah, this one had an operation a couple of weeks last week. Yeah, so she's thingy. But yeah, how long was the game, Strap? 48 as well. Yeah, it's not a long time to do stuff. Bear with me. Let me take her out before she chews through my cables again. Sorry. Say bye to them. No? Okay. Sorry, little one. She's already chewed through one set of headphones, so I don't really want her to chew through another one. But yeah, 48-hour jams are always hard. I've only ever done a 8-hour jam, which was on. It was like it was at Eurogamer Resd, but it was on the show floor. So where you guys were kind of away, the year that I did it was the Creative Assembly one, and it was actually on show floor on the Saturday, and it was horrible. 8 hours to make a game. I haven't done one since. Just wondering, could you not create one large face on the front of the axe where the pattern is cut and the face is in the pattern? Actually, yeah, that probably would be a bit easier. Ross, I've got an idea. I'm going to keep that one in because that's got a pattern on it, and then basically build these patterns and then build the geometry around it. Yeah, because that's got that pattern that's going to sit on there, so I want to have all the points go to there, basically. That's a good idea, Ross, thanks. It's going to save me a bit of time on this. So I'm just going to build these patterns now. I didn't want to do that. No, it's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. What's the difference between LT and standard Maya? Not much really, to be fair. You save as a different file type, so that you can't open an LT file in a normal Maya file. inside of it. But if you're using FBXs and OBJs, it doesn't matter. Just save it out as an FBX. There is an export limit, so you can't export more than 300,000 polys, I think. Which, if you're doing that, I'm wondering why something's 300,000. But so I'm guessing if it's like a full environment, it'd be very hard. So you could export props, and then that's kind of how I've got around it in the past. Is export different PCs and then put them together inside the engine, which you should be doing anyway. And there is no Python. So any tools that use Python, you won't be able to use them basically. Don't know. I would say it was something that the player could use. Yeah, I would say I'd always build a weapon basically high, and then pull it down depending on what I was going to be using it for, basically, or whatever the client's using it for. You could still put this on the floor. Yeah. No, I haven't finished the ladies yet, Kyle. Yeah, had the whole normal artist block on that one, and just kind of got bored. And I wanted something. I don't know. I just wanted something I can finish quickly, which this I can. It's kind of single prop, isn't it? So I know it's bad, but yeah. The music's not too loud, is it? Everybody, just double checking. because I can't actually hear the music. Cool. I like it. Yeah, I can't hear it. So I've kind of put because I know I got a suggestion saying, "Oh, can you put music to it?" I was like, "Okay, I've got to put royalty-free music. I can't listen to like Spotify, which is a shame." Yeah, so basically, I just put chill out on royalty-free. It's called Pretzel, basically. It's like Spotify, but it's all royalty-free. And yeah, I was, and then I'm listening to Spotify. So you guys are listening to whatever it is, and I'm listening to Enter Shikari. Ross, you've used this before. If I'm doing like quad draw here, and say I just want to make this piece here, but it's intersecting with that, do I have to then turn off live surface and come back to it, or can I? Is there a button that I can just press that ignores this bit here? Oh, that's pretty cool. I don't know, it's obviously seen that this point is still active in the quad draw, so it's trying to add it to here, but in fact I just want it as a separate piece. I'm guessing I just have to kind of do this, and then remake it live. Move the other one away. Okay, that's probably a quicker fix, and then just move it back, yeah, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, that's slightly annoying, but I'm guessing the only way you can do it. tell I'm concentrating. It's nice. I would love to try this method on like Victorian pattern work as well, which would be cool. Oh no! Don't do that. No. Easy way of doing it. Oh no, yeah, that's not gonna work. I know a lot of students who are doing characters hate doing this retopologizing. I think it's therapeutic, like you said, Ross. It's quite therapeutic doing this. I do prefer sculpting as well. I keep doing that. Sorry, I'm not swearing at you. I keep moving my thing. I do like sculpting stylized stuff though. That's very therapeutic. I don't think being an artist comes into. I think it's just generally, I do enjoy when I get sculpting. Like nowadays, I don't like the modeling stage of stuff. I'd rather start to kind of like get it textured and sculpted and that sort of stuff. I think years of like doing modeling, it's kind of the least important step, I think, in creating 3D stuff. Yeah, okay, if you've got like a decent model, then you're going to get and if you've set up UVs correctly and that sort of stuff, it's very methodical and it's very like, okay, you need to do it in this way. I think I prefer texturing nowadays because of just it's a lot more creative and there's a lot more tools out there for you to kind of get your teeth stuck into making things. Like Substance Painter and designers kind of, and can't forget Quixel Suite as well. Quixel Suite kind of led the path with that automated texture like generation and that sort of stuff, and painting tools on 3D meshes. But like Substance Painter and designer taking that step further, where it's more, it's quicker to do it in them. And yeah, okay, you might get, if I do see this a lot with students, you see the same type of thing being made. But if you've got those underlying art skills of kind of being able to create materials and textures and detail and telling a story with it, then that combined with a tool like Substance Painter, you're unstoppable basically. Substance Painter is only there to speed your workflow up. It's not necessarily there to do everything for you. Like, I know a lot of people just stick in lots of like damage stuff, that's automated, and then don't go in and paint detail in themselves. And I think that's what Substance Paint is all about. It's like kind of combining, yes, that automation process, but also being able to paint yourself, your details in as well. Yes, yeah, I'm gonna mirror all this over. I will do these as actual separate pieces. I'll just do one side, mirror it over. This is the only thing that I can't mirror. It's just thingy, so I'll do this actually myself. But everything else I can mirror over. Even these pieces, because they're quite symmetrical, so yeah. I'll always go back into 3D as well, just to kind of what I'll do is, just so I know these are all on the same edge, I'm gonna combine them. Grab all the faces and then just snap them down like that. Just means I know that they're all on the same page, same plane. So when I start to extrude and do all that sort of stuff, then I know thingy. Because I know these are gonna have a little bit of depth to them, so they kind of should. Doesn't help that I accidentally left on live surface, but they would be slightly down and then the link round. No, I don't. I was never taught to. Some people do. I just don't bother. If I'm breaking down a building, like I will paint certain colours on the image that I can see what's going to be like, what I can use a trim sheet for, what I can tile, what I can kind of make modular. But that's on an image basically in Photoshop, and I'll just quickly break it up and see what I need to kind of make on there. All I'm going to do now is I'm just going to rename that. Grab the insert edge of it too. These are the simple ones to fix. And then I can switch to multi-cut to kind of get these pieces correct. You can do, yeah. Let me just grab that. If I turn that on, it will edge. We can get it roughly, and it's not affecting anything else as well either. So, which is brilliant for if you're just kind of doing that sort of stuff. You just have to remember to turn it off. You can always forget to turn it off. Grab a multi-cut. Just save as well. G is such a useful tool. For anybody watching this after the live stream, and I know what Ross knows what it is, but G repeats the last tool you use, so you can just speed your workflow really quickly. Ah, don't do that, Matt. What was that then? It doesn't Blender, can't you turn it into Maya basically? Max, yeah, I know. It's because of the stack system that they use. Yeah, it just doesn't really support it. Oh, no, turn it off. The only thing I would say, which I should have done before I brought this in, just to help things, is make the image a bit brighter so that I can see these darker parts, but yeah, that was my mistake. Could go back and do it, but then it means going back and pulling out. Yeah. Like, because all you need it to do is you don't need to take the texture from it, so all you need it to do is basically gather the information. That's what you're kind of doing. So much easier that, isn't it, Ross? Such a godsend. Okay, I'm just going to save it here, just in case when I do this in a minute and I don't like it, I can just reset it. I'm just going to go around, select all the pieces that I need. Make sure I turn that off every time. What I'm doing here is just selecting all the edges as well. I'm just going to extrude those edges as well. And just snap them so that they're even with the bottom piece as well. Yeah, so if I just hide the reference, you can see got kind of started to get that pattern work done. I'm just going to connect everything up now, just so that I can kind of connect it all together and stuff. The one thing I will do is I will merge these verts into here, so it's going into triangles just because it's easier to manage, and then I'm going to have less geometry in between to kind of join these bits together. So I'll do that now before I start underneath. And again, I'll just save it. And what I'll do is I'll make a duplicate of this as well. Maybe not the reference, but I'll take the pattern and duplicate it, and I'll just hide it. And the reason for that is if I now screw up the next step because I'm trying something a bit different and that thingy, I've always got something to fall back on. I always do that with pattern work because it's so much easier to screw up. That it's just easier for me to duplicate it and then work on the original, and then I've got a duplicate. Which is good. So I can go around and use target weld on these things. I should have actually really done this before I extruded, but yeah, okay. So there's a couple methods. So there's one called target weld, which just lets you drag the verts onto the other verts, and then it's already welded them together. I don't know what's going on with my laptop at the moment. Ever since the update. So yeah, so I can start to clean this up, mainly in the corners here. The other way would be to do that, where I can just grab it and drag it like that. But the problem with that is it's not going to weld it. So I just tend to use target weld. It just tends to be quicker. And then I've got to think to myself, is that worth it there or not? So I could just do this. No, I like it. I prefer that little bit of a bend there. Nope. What are you saying nope to? Yeah, I think, to be fair, how big the polys are on this at the moment, it's for the pattern itself is about 1062, which is pretty much nothing. I like these corner pieces though. I think they hold quite a bit of the shape, so I don't really want to delete them because of they are holding the shape. The general rule of thumb is if it's holding silhouette, don't delete it. Unless you have to. I was speaking to an outsource. I was speaking about an outsource project, and I was saying they were doing LODs as well, but when their outsourcers give them LODs, they change the silhouette so much that you can see the popping in and popping out, and it's like, yeah, there's certain bits that you can get away with, and like how I was telling them is like I work high and then I just LOD in basically, but I tend to not change anything in the silhouette, so that when you do load it in, it doesn't change drastically. It's just the like kind of micro detail that you have in the thing. Oh, that's the low poly modeler coming out in you there. See that? I think that's fine. You can get rid of that. It's too close to each other and it hasn't really affected the silhouette at all. But if it's holding the structure, then you keep it in. This is very therapeutic as well. Like, a lot of people don't like fixing models. I know a lot of people don't like fixing other people's models, but I don't know. It's very, again, it's very therapeutic. This video will be uploaded to the YouTube channel, which is Tablefoot Games on YouTube. Still got a couple more videos to come out on there on the Unreal 4 series. I want to do a video on using Unreal Sequencer to create some interesting, well, to look at the features of that and kind of come up with that. And I may do one on landscape as well. I've been recently doing landscapes inside of Unreal Engine. Created a nice little material. Ooh, what do we have here? Look at that. That was a mistake. Yeah, created the material with the help of quite a few different tutorials on basically a landscape material that auto generates. It blends between cliffs and grass on the auto, so yeah. Used a mixture of tutorials to kind of make what I wanted, basically. Yes, future, do this before I actually build it up. I think the reason why I don't. This isn't one of the reasons why I picked to do an axe, but I'm sure the first years have got a concept, an axe in one of their modules. So. Oh, nearly done. Definitely would be good if you just had a speed up function for this. I'll time lapse it. I think that's done. Yeah, I'm all tidied up. There we go. Which is now 845, which is nothing. Okay, next thing I wanted to do was start to combine this together so that I've kind of got a basis to work with, and I will on this. So I might just do. Let me bring up back my reference. I'm just going to create this as a live object. But what I'm going to do is so there's a minute. Yeah, that's a bit of that. And I'll do stuff, and then it's like, okay, I don't like that, so I'll try something different. Oh, I just put the wrong thing as a live surface. Ignore that. Reference. Probably actually easier if I don't even do the quad draw for this bit, because I just kind of manually fill it in. Yeah. Hmm. Sorry, Zarowski. Thank you for the follow. I've only just seen it pop up. You did that 40 minutes ago, so sorry about that. But thank you for the follow. Mm. Yeah, I never see it actually popping up on the notifications. I know it is set up so it should do that. Just like, yeah, I get too engrossed in this and then completely forget. So what is it? Are you still studying, or are you finished studying now? You're a full time employment. What are you up to? Not a big fan of that. Yeah, I've kind of made a change there because that's way too thin and it was encroaching on that, so I didn't want to kind of have it overlapping and that sort of stuff. So it's just easy to kind of pull it out a little bit, just so you don't get that Z biting or anything like that. Oh wow, good luck. Yeah, I'm surprised actually because did you what's it? So is that the BA project? Is that like a final major project? Ah, okay, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I've got my master's final major project, Mark 3 so far. I'm gonna do the rest tomorrow when in my downtime from division. Yeah, well, good luck. Um, which uni were you at? Um, were you at one of the London unis? Ah, okay, yeah, yeah. SA Institute London. Ah, okay. Ross, you'll be happy I'm deleting some geometry. Another thing I could have done this. Pen polygon tool. Awesome tool. just gonna. What have I got? What should I listen to? Oh, it's a cinematic trailer. Okay, cool. What was the cinematic trailer about? Like, or was it just, were you doing like cinematic art for it, showcasing that off? Yeah. I've got a master's student who's doing a mini project at the moment, based around that whole theory. Yeah, it's really important. A lot of people overlook lighting, and it's a really important step. I know a lot of my students do in the first few years. They just completely overlook lighting, and like how lighting can just take a scene and just completely transform it into something different. Yeah. I've got a master's doing a similar topic at the moment. Um, Ross, do you do much lighting in engine or not? No. No, it's alright. Oh, I like lighting in engine nowadays. I am like, you can really get some really nice looking lighting in most of the modern day engines anyway. So I did a tutorial on kind of like a process recently over on Tabletop Games for the students. But yeah, like there's loads of different articles about lighting and creating atmosphere through lighting. Yeah, I mean, proper portfolio. I mean, I found my old portfolio when I graduated a couple of weeks ago, and I showed the students, and I said, "Yeah, this is what I graduated with, and this is where I am now." And it was shockingly bad when I graduated. I took a year out. Year took it. No, I didn't. I needed an extra year of just getting my portfolio together before I kind of started making 3D assets for companies and stuff. Like one of the first 3D jobs that I had wasn't games; it was visualization. Um, and yeah, I didn't think I got a game working on games until at least a year, maybe 2 years after I finished graduating, my undergraduate. Mainly worked on kind of visualization stuff and just improving my portfolio. I had to work a full-time job in retail to kind of support that. And then I did a little bit of freelance on a mobile game, which I don't even think came out in the end, but they paid me. And then I went back and did a master's. I was teaching at this point as well. And then I went back, did a master's, started teaching some more, went and did some outsource freelance for a company that was doing outsourcing on a project, which was kind of where I got a lot of experience from. And then then just carried on teaching and doing freelance on thing. You got more jobs. Released a game. That was big. Released my own game, which kind of helped a lot. But I'd never recommend doing that straight out of university, because you just don't have the contacts, and you just don't. You learn so much when you go into the studio environments that, yeah, I kind of regretted going freelance straight out of university. I should have put more time in at university. But yeah. Slack having a go at me. No, so I definitely recommend, if you're not using it already, ArtStation. Like ArtStation's so uniformed and so much easier to look at stuff when people are sending it through. I think also don't get disheartened as well if it doesn't come straight away. It is about what you know, and then it's also about who you know. But it's also luck as well. Like, yeah, I've been always lucky with freelance, but I struggle with trying to get into AAA and that sort of stuff because I just don't have the experience in that field, like making massive games. Yeah, Ross, you just try not to get disheartened. I know it's hard. It definitely is hard because, yeah, I say try not to get disheartened, but like I have, definitely. So what was your course title? Is it a pure art course, or was it like a games design course? I can't remember. Oh, okay. Oh. I think visual scripting is very interesting. I mean, I sometimes like to do it. I don't do it as often as to keep myself up to date. But I think sometimes if you're more technical minded, it's kind of it's not weird really. Like I think Ross will attest to that in that comment. But yeah, I don't think it's weird. It's if you like to break things down and actually build things up and that sort of stuff, it's not. Sometimes coming from a pure art, you fall more into technical art. I think if you want to kind of pursue lighting, you do need some of those traditional art skills like composition, color theory. If you really enjoy photography, then cinematic stuff is really good. Oh, what's up with you? There was a vert there, that's white. I think one thing kind of want to bring across is just think about like all the people applying for those positions are all coming from university, obviously graduates. So it's like what makes your portfolio stand out from the rest, and like looking at like creating procedurally generated textures like in Substance Designer, where you can make material libraries to make your life easier. Looking at that final stage of rendering where you're looking at lighting and composition and going through like making things look as good as they can in engine. Being able to demonstrate the understanding of the engine pipeline, you go from making the asset, bringing it into the engine, setting it all up. Like wireframes is always good, especially as a graduate, because then it's showing how like your topology and that sort of stuff works. Yeah, your learning process is really important. Being able to learn, like, self teach, and with you saying about blueprint, Ross has just brought up a valid point there. With you saying about blueprints and you're thinking it's weird that you want to learn that, you're kind of trying to find ways on to make things work. So being able to show that you can kind of self teach yourself new techniques and that sort of stuff really works well, I think. Boss, do correct me if I'm wrong there, but yeah, being able to understand why you failed and how you would improve it is also good. If a graduate turns up saying, "I know how to do everything," it's like, yeah, you're not getting the job at all, because as a graduate you don't. You might have been taught really well, but 3 years isn't enough to learn this. Like, I still learning stuff now. I've been doing 3D modeling since 2008. Turn off. There we go. Well, Broski, good luck with whatever you're doing, and yeah, welcome to the community. Very small, but welcome to the Table Clips community. It's lovely when that first happens to you. You accidentally pull everything. Jagged edge. Do you mean this? Sorry, let me just. I mean this bit here. Yeah, no, I'm gonna sculpt that in. I'm gonna take it into Zbrush and chip it away. Yeah, just easier to do it that way. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to get this face finished. So that because I'm gonna have to call it there for today. But yeah, I want to get it to a rough stage. Yeah, I'll show the sculpting process. Hopefully in the next live stream I'll try and continue this out of stream, and then when I get to the sculpting process, I will stop and then show that in the next live stream, and then maybe do some sculpting off stream to finish it off, and then the next stage would be UVs. I'll do that on stream, and then I'll do the what's it called? Painting, and then rendering. So I'll try and do at least a little bit of each process that I'm going through on stream so that you can see it, and then kind of the rest of it, fill in the gaps in spare time during the week that I get. Very little spare time. But yeah, I think that's roughly I'm going to call it today. So I think we're nearly there. Few bits like this. Ring. I say I'm gonna call it there for the day, and then the next 20 minutes just going through bits that I'm like, I'm not happy with that. Not playing COD too much. How dare you? Well, a little bit too much COD. I can't really justify that, seeing that I did a stream yesterday on COD. No, just busy at uni. But yeah, cool. Well, thank you for tuning in, and thank you for chatting. And I'll see you all in the next stream. Bye. Have a good evening.